All right, good morning. 240302. This is a level 4 problem from Too Tall Toby and lots of extrudes. We're definitely going to use sketch region. There's a little thing I want to show you at the end, so stick around for a configuration comment. I have already done this once this morning. I was ranked 107, so not in the top 100. So we're going to try again and just shave off a little bit of time. So here we go. We're going to make a sketch on the front plane and try to capture a lot of this information in here. We're going to do a circle. Sometimes I like to double click and type in a new value and just kind of rescale the whole thing before I go too much further. The hole down here is also 20 on the inside, so we can do that. And then add a few other circles for the counterbore and the radius. We'll add one over here for the radius. We'll add one straight over, but I don't want this one to be the same size. So if I hold down Shift, it gets rid of those equal size constraints so I can place it individually. Okay. All right, so let's see here. I know this one's going to be 140. We've got the inside diameter 20, which is up here. Let's start up at the top. Let's make this, let's make that a radius of 20. Let's make the inside diameter over here 28 and the outside a radius of 33. There we go. The distance between those two is going to be 71. Okay. All right, so we got the distance. Center is 20, its counterbore is 30, and the radius out there, oh, I guess I could have made those the same. Oh well, it's 33. All right, we're going to add a line that's coming down vertically from the top hole. Right, and then let's make this tangent. Okay. Next, we got two arcs that are tangent arcs, so we can start here and I end here, and I want it to be tangent. We can get one of them, we can't get both of them, but I can hold down Control, get both of them, and make them tangent right there. Same thing here. I'm going to make a tangent arc. I want that one of those tangent constraints, but I can hold Control and get the second one. All right, this radius is 222. Oh, and it's going the wrong way. Hold on. I might have an issue with that. I don't know if it'll let me force it the other direction. Yep. So let's get rid of that arc and try that one again. So my mistake there, we're going to make this arc on the outside tangent. There we go. And this radius here is 42. And I think we're pretty good here from all of our dimensions. All right. So using sketch regions, let's turn the off. Let's Shift S for sketch regions. Let's extrude that one. That one's got a height of 55. Let's extrude this one. We got a height here of 30. Let's extrude this one. One of my little fun hacks is as you grab to drag this, you can hold down Shift and get a surface so it'll stick to that. But then I can right click and say side 2 depth is variable, and we'll set that as 44 minus 30. Okay, so we come down 44 from the top. Now we'll extrude this part. And again, we'll take that Shift and drag it down to the surface. All right. As far as sketches, I'm also going to take this part and extrude that up. And we'll make the distance, it's going to be down 15, which means it's going to come up 30 minus 15. And Interesting. I think that's okay. All right. So the last thing we'll do is add this notch cutout. So if I hit extrude here, I don't need to do sketch regions. But what happens, I want to add a fillet to those bottom two corners, set that distance to 9, overall width of 55, depth of 15. Right, and I'm not dimensioning it from here, I'm dimensioning it from the hole over here. So I'm going to turn on axes, and I'm going to make that axis a reference so I can dimension from it. Actually, when I did that, it already added the number in for me. Perfect. So I was able to select that axis pretty easy, and that's great. But to be honest, when I first started it, it wouldn't let me because I didn't have an axis. So let's talk about that in just a second. And we're going to type in 1480. There we go. All right. So awesome. Definitely shaved a little time off there. But let's talk about these axes that are showing up. So normally we have an axis that shows up when we click on or extrude a circle. It has to be a full circle. If it's not a full circle, we don't get an axis from that extrusion. So what happened here is because I was making these with a sketch region, let's go to that second extrude and edit definition and see what that sketch really looks like. So this is not two circles. This is a projection of it. It's an arc that we get from projecting the first sketch. So that's how sketch regions functions. It takes an existing sketch and creates a projection of those bounding areas. So because this is recognized as an arc and not circles, if you leave the default configuration settings, when you extrude that, you don't get axes because they're not circles, they're arcs. So there is a setting that allows you to add axes to arcs, but the trade-off then is that this arc down here gets a center line. This arc gets a center line. This arc gets a center line. So if you don't want all of it, it's a trade-off, right? Do you want to have to add arcs to your circles? Do you want to go back and natively sketch with extrudes instead of sketch regions? Or do you want to have more axes showing up than you actually need? That's kind of your challenge. So it's under File, Options, and in the upper corner you can type in axes, not axis. So you do need to have the plural for it to show up all the information. I'll show you if you type in axis. You don't get all the same options. It really only shows you the options for axis, not axes. Anyway, so I have a configuration that is in my UI called Show Axes for extruded arcs. And I have that set to yes. By default, that is the default on this one is no, so that you don't get the axes through every extruded arc. But I've grown to love sketch regions, so I have turned yes on for my show axes for extruded arcs. The downside will be more axes than I need sometimes, but for right now, I think this is an appropriate setting. Okay. All right. Thanks. Take care, and we'll see you soon.